up, everybody? What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is The Chi Season 2, Episode 1. Bear with me, y'all. I'm losing my voice a little bit, so that's why it sounds a little deep, okay? So I didn't know if I was gonna watch it because I don't have Showtime. I don't have Showtime, but they put the first episode on YouTube, so I was like, I reviewed it last season. Why not go ahead and review it one more again, okay? So we here. Let's go ahead and get started. We start off with Brandon. We see him in the food truck. It's up and running. Okay, he walking around the city. You know, he doing his thizzle, selling food, making a little bit of money. You know, good times and all of that. Parking all over the place, talking about, I guess he's talking about getting some things taken care of so that he can park somewhere permanently. And a lady offers to help him. She said he about to get a boot, so he get out and he go try to the dude not to give him a boot. And the dude didn't want to do it at first, but he offers to make him a taco. A polenta taco. Polenta is grits, y'all. If you don't know what polenta is, it's just grits. So he make this fancy taco with the grits or whatever, and the dude like it so much he don't give him the boot, which is cute. As he's done for the night, he pulling up to park his car in Hyde Park. What I didn't understand and what didn't make sense is why would you get out and look like he was about to leave the money under his seat all night long and you ain't even got no door to your truck, sir? What are you doing? As he's getting out of the truck, someone comes up to him. They put a gun to his head, and, you know, he get robbed. They steal the truck. They steal all his money for the night. You know, he was pleading with them from the truck, but, you know, dude just got in the car and just drove away. I was like, damn, this nigga Brandon can't never catch no break. I mean, dang, he stay getting robbed or something like that. Then we in a flashback, so I guess we using flashbacks this season because we've never used flashbacks before, but we in a flashback. We back in 19 whatever when Ronnie just came back from the military. Yeah, he just came back from the military, so he came back from deployment. Everybody happy, you know, the kids is happy. He got all the children gifts, you know, he giving out gifts. You know, you could say you been everywhere I've been. You take this, baby. You like that? Okay, you take that. That's nice. Okay. And apparently he's a week early because his grandmama is so happy that he's back, and they did a good job making that lady look young. Okay, black don't crack because, you know, just as good as she looked like being old, you know, like she is in the present, being older, like the younger her was cute. Okay, I was like, get into it, grandma. She happy, he home, she hugging him, she kissing him, they happy. He's very optimistic at this time. Now we back in the present, and Ronnie is in jail because if you remember last season, he pleaded guilty, or he confessed, excuse me, to killing Tukey. And I think it was Tukey, right? Coogie. That's his name, Coogie. Confessed to killing Coogie. So now he's in jail. He's awaiting trial. Apparently, he wants to plead guilty, but he's waiting for the DA to accept the plea or whatever the case may be. We see him passing out breakfast to everybody. He's kind of taking on the role of a helper. We can see that he's sober now, which is great, right? Because he definitely wasn't sober when he was on the outside, or he appears to be sober. And he comes in and we see one guy who's suffering. You know, he's going through withdrawal, and he tells him to put an alcohol swab in between his, you know, gum and his mouth or whatever, and it help take the edge off, and you know, trying to help the guy out. Then we see Emmett's mom. I don't know her name, y'all. What is Emmett mama name? I'm just gonna call her mama. So mama wakes up Emmett. He's late to take care of all his business. She named about 5 or 6 things he said he was gonna do, child, and he ain't did none of that shit, okay? Mama grabbed some of her bags, and she like, okay, well, I'm about to move. I'm about to move into a 1-bedroom. I told you a few months ago you was gonna have to move. I told you a few weeks ago you was gonna have to move. I told you a few days ago you was gonna have to move, and now the day has come, sir. You have not followed through with none of the stuff we said he was gonna do. If you remember at the end of last season, he was gonna try to get custody of the little boy because he kept going back and forth with that crazy baby mama, okay? But she said you ain't followed through with none of that, child, and I am tired, okay? You need to get your own place. I'm done, okay? All this stuff that you got going on, it ain't my problem. I'm done. It's basically like, well, where am I gonna be when I keep EJ if I don't have nowhere to stay? And she's like, when is the last time EJ been over here, child? When is the last time you seen your son? And he was like, it's not me, it's cousin Tiffany. And she was like, I don't care. It's not my problem no more. I'm sorry. I tried to help you, but I cannot always be here for you to fall back on. You have got to be your own person. I'm out, nigga. Bye. I don't think it's gonna be a good season for Emmett, y'all, because Emmett is out here on the limb, child. I don't know. Kevin and his mama, and Kevin is on his way to the therapist. His mom is making him get therapy because, you know, he shot Ronnie last season. I guess all of this has come out, and it was self-defense and XYZ, you know. So he said he don't want to go to therapy because therapy is for white people, okay? And she's like, I don't even want to hear that ignorance, you know what I'm saying? You gonna go and you gonna talk to this lady. You gonna go because I'm paying for it. So take your up in there. And I just want to say that Kevin is growing up. He's so handsome. He is really growing up. All the 3 little boys are growing up. They all growing up to be cute little boys. Brandon and Jerika, and he's telling her about the robbery, and he feels like it was a setup, you know, maybe from Ronnie, is it Reggie and them, you know, last season, the drug dealers or whatever. And she's telling him to file a police report. Of course, we know Brandon don't want to file no police report because they don't want to deal with no police. He like, you always want to call the police. And she was like, well, at least you can do is call the insurance company and get a claim going. You see what happened was he ain't had no insurance. So he like, well, insurance costs money and I have to worry about paying you back and I gotta pay bills and you know, and she was like, well, listen, you don't have to worry about paying me back so soon. You know, take care of what you need to take care of. And maybe it's time for you to get a regular job so you can bring some more money in. And you know, he don't want to work for the white man. He want to work for himself. Well, baby, it's black-owned businesses out here, baby. Go find one. Okay, he was like, well, how many of them got 5-star Michelin, 5-star? Nigga, you selling tacos out the truck on the street, child. And you worried about a 5-star Michelin restaurant for you. But boy, if you don't want to get you a goddamn... Listen, it's going to be me and Brandon because I be done cuss Brandon out. I went to school and Maisha, if you don't remember, Maisha is the plump, okay, pleasantly plump, fine, you know, young lady who was trying to get with Kevin if being fast all last season. So Maisha is making her presentation about the solar system, okay? She put some music on, the kids is jamming to the music. I'm like, what's going on with this presentation, child? Then she do a planet presentation talking about all the planets and the teacher comment. It's a little, you know, comic relief. The teacher comment on the planet Earth being brown and she was like, the Earth is dying. Global warming, baby. You ain't never heard about it? The teacher tells them that Kevin and Stanley, y'all next, and y'all got to do a presentation about the volcano, right? And so Pop and them, they about to have a heart attack. You see that little thug back, you know, Jake, he back at the school or whatever, and he said he had to come back because the social worker kept bothering Reggie about him going to school, so he had to come back to school. Papa, you know, is like basically you and Kevin, you know, because him and Kevin look back and forth and looking at each other like they gonna do something, and you know, they start a little bickering. Papa like, listen, I ain't got time for all this. Y'all not about to stress me out and run my blood pressure up, so y'all need to figure out what your problem is, work it out, and we need to move on because all this negative energy is bad for my skin. I said, okay, Papa, we ain't got time for all that. We supposed to be friends to the end. Kevin goes to see his baby mama, Tiffany. He said he want to see his son, but he really ain't got nowhere to go or whatever. Talking about he missed his little man. And, you know, she pissed at him because he called the DPS on her. Is it DPS? I think that's what she said. She called Child Protective Services on him, right? And they done been all in his business. And he said, listen, I was just trying to protect my son. And she was like, the dude is not even around here anymore. And you know, he gives the sob story like, we think she gonna give in. You know, he like, well, I just really miss my son. You know, I miss him. I don't know when I'm gonna see him again. And, you know, for 1 second, she paused, but then she opened the door and tell him, you are not going to see him. Now, Miss Tiffany, little girl, I don't know. Listen, they ain't get too much into her character last season. I personally do not believe that you should not be holding no kids back from their daddy, even if their daddy is trifling. Okay, even if their daddy don't pay child support. I know, but that's still their daddy at the end of the day. Miss Tiffany is dead ass wrong, but Emmett is trifling as hell. He trifling. I can't even say he not trifling. But, you know, she wrong. Kevin asked Maisha, earlier the boys decided that they wanted Maisha to make the volcano for them. They was going to pay her to do it. So Kevin and them go to Maisha and they ask her to make the volcano. And she said, yeah, but, you know, she have a writer. She has some demands that need to be met, some things that need to be, you know, given to her before she can start to work on this project. So she started listing the damn whole corner store. Okay, the whole corner store and a Fitbit because she working on her fitness. She need to have all them things before she can even get started on the project. So by tomorrow morning she needs to have them all. Okay, as they walk away from her, and they was like, well, first of all, no, go back, because she said to Papa, how you big and you don't like big girls? Picky. Papa, y'all, when he put his head down like, damn, it was so funny. When they walked away from her, they like, we ain't got no money to be buying all these snacks, child. What is we gonna do? We don't have no money. Kevin said they just need to buy her a Fitbit and call it a day. Brandon comes to see his mama, and his stepdad is there. Say his mama went to go see her sister, and she ain't tell nobody. He was like, I just talked to her like 3 hours ago. And he was like, I mean, you know how your mama is, she just jump up and go do stuff. Now, I don't know, some tell me, I don't know, it's just something touch me like that ain't right. Why would I talk to you 3 hours ago and then you would drive all the way to Delaware to go see your mama and we live in Chicago? Huh? What? It don't make no sense, Daddy, but okay, maybe she is. You know, maybe that's just something to throw away, but I just put that right there. He tells him that he got robbed and everything that happened or whatever, and the dude tell him, well, now it's time for you to go get a real job. You know, I get you a job where I work. He like, nah, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I got some interviews set up or whatever. That day, he gets up, he goes back to the room, he come back with a box, and Brandon just talking and talking and talking. He like, can you just shut up for 1 second? Damn, be quiet. Opens up the box, and the gun is there. So remember last season, he told him he got rid of the gun. He actually never got rid of the gun. He said, I kept it because, well, I'm giving it back to you because apparently you need it, you know, for protection. So he looked at the gun, but he took it. He gone and took it. Then we see Emma. He goes over to Keisha's house. Now, if you remember, Keisha is Kevin's big sister, right? And so he tells her that he need a place to stay, child. He got them garbage bags standing out there looking homeless. Okay, like, you raggedy bitch. He's standing out there looking like that. He said no, she's sick of him. They ain't never been on no real date. The only time he call her is when he hungry or he needs somewhere to stay, child. She is tired of his ass. She deserve better because she is a strong black woman.
I'm over exaggerating. She ain't say all of that.
He tell him bye. She turn around to leave, and then she's like, wait 1 second, just wait 1 second. She came back with some protein bars and threw them hoes out the window, and he like, what is it? She was like, some snacks, you know, just in case you get hungry. Yeah, bitch. Pull it together, Emmett. Mama is helping Miss Ethel. Apparently, Ronnie gave her the power of attorney, and she gets paid out of her Medicare, so she's helping her, working with her or whatever. And, of course, Ethel is complaining, and she says that she wants to go see Ronnie, and Mama's like, well, you know, I don't know. I don't think he wants you to see him like that, so, you know, I'll talk to him, and maybe, you know, I can change his mind. Then they get a knock at the door, and it's a woman, and she says that she came to check on the eviction notice that they have sent out to Miss Ethel. So apparently, the house has been sold by the owner. It's been sold a while ago, and they've been sending eviction notices to Ethel, and she just been ignoring it. She screams from inside the house that she ain't going nowhere. She been in that house for 30 years, and she not going nowhere. And, you know, Mama, well, the lady says that, you know, we giving her a stipend for her to relocate. Here is some senior homes, you know, that's available in the area, and, you know, can you please try to talk to her? And she's like, yeah, I'll try to talk to her. Emmett is calling Mama. She calling him, and Miss Ethel is like, well, why? Who is that calling you? And Mama said, well, you know, Emmett is calling me. He upset because I moved out on him. And she's like, Ethel tells her, you should be upset, you know, because you turning your back on your son. You the only person he have. He don't have nobody but you, and you shouldn't do that, and X, Y, and Z. So, you know, Mama is feeling kind of bad now that she's kind of turning her back on her son. As far as that, I feel like, you know, at some point you got to throw them out there and let them survive by themselves. I understand her point of view. She tired. She been taking care of him. He said he gonna do this. Last season they had this big push, and we thought he was gonna be mature and try to get stuff together. He just fall back into his old routine. So maybe he need that no safety net for him to finally get it together, okay? So, or at least try to explore a different avenue or somebody else to go mooch off of, child, because I know she tired. But I don't also understand, because I'm not a mother, but I could see how being a mother, you know, and you just leaving your child out there like that will make you feel some type of way or whatever. So, you know, I understand both perspectives, both points of view. So we see Ronnie back in jail, and the dude is telling him thank you. It's like the white boy, and he's telling him all about himself, you know, just talking too damn much. And he asks for more of the alcohol swabs, and, you know, Ronnie tells him, no, you're not getting no more alcohol swabs. You know, you good now. You don't need it anymore. And so they start talking about their cases. What you in here for? They got him for, you know, like 3 charges, but then Ronnie tells him they got me for murder. And he's like, are you gonna plead innocent or whatever? And he's like, no, I'm gonna plead guilty. I'm gonna take the plea. I'm gonna save everybody the pain of going through a trial. And so he says, well, he gonna plead innocent because he got a baby and all of this different stuff or whatever. And Ronnie starts talking about Jason and how he had a son, how he has created a world for himself in the jail, and he just doing the time and not let the time do him. You know, all the stuff that, you know, crime victims be saying when they be in jail, child. And he doing better in jail than he was when he was out of jail, because he's sober now. He wasn't sober then. So then we see a flashback again to Ronnie. He's studying for some type of test. We can see a whole bunch of books, okay? But he is drinking at the same time out of a little bottle, but he's drinking. His grandma is on the phone. She just raving and raving about how he's so great, talking to her friends and, you know, all the places he been and all of that stuff. And she's talking about how he want to be a police officer, and he wants to, yeah, and But, you know, he doing a lot of paperwork. Like I said, he needs some information from her about where they used to live. And so he's kind of getting frustrated because they asking him, like, who was your supervisor when you was 15 at the whatever shop? And, you know, he don't know all of that. And he's getting all upset about the paperwork. So he needs a break. Break means drinking, in case you didn't know. Brandon goes to the drug dealer at the pool hall and he has the gun. Okay, so Brandon, once again, being a super nice guy, extra nice, like almost too nice. It's a little unbelievable. Instead of using a gun to protect himself, he used the gun, or he brought the gun back to Reggie, who it belonged to, which was the whole reason he owed him the debt in the first place. And they kind of abandoned the storyline about him selling dope on the truck from the end of last season, but I'm just gonna let that one go. He basically says we even now. I gave you you wanted your gun back, you got your gun back, you know, and tell the people to leave him alone. And Reggie was like, what are you talking about? He was like, yeah, set up, you know, somebody robbed me for my truck. And Reggie started laughing like, boy, don't nobody want that raggedy ass truck. Ain't nobody rob you for your truck. And he tells him to keep the gun because he seemed like he needed more than, you know, he do. Not square with him. Like, we not even till I say we even. All right, Nico. Dude step up, you know, with his gun in his waist like,
I'll pop you right now, nigga. Say something. Do something, nigga. I'll pop you right now. I've been waiting to shoot somebody all day.
And Brandon was like, he put the gun in his waist and he like, I'm out, nigga. I'm kidding. I don't want no smoke. So we at Sonny's, and Sonny goes to the back to, you know, he see a bag on the floor. So he walked to the back, and he catch Emmett up in there washing his ass. He said, I know you ain't up in here washing your ass while we wash the chicken with your nasty. He tell him that mama left. You know, he ain't got nowhere to stay. And, you know, Sonny like, get dressed would be good for him. It's about time she did it, okay? So as he's getting dressed, child, and looking over, he hollering at some girls, hey, how you doing? In the line waiting for chicken. And so then we see a club scene, and he in the club just dancing with the girls, child, just, you know, dancing with the girls all around, kissing the girls, hugging the girls, taking pills with the girls. You know, he think he finna go home with somebody. He about to put that homeless pee-wee up in somebody tonight, maybe two somebodies if he get lucky. As they were leaving the club, the girls like, all right, peace, good night. You know what I'm saying? We'll see y'all next time. I'll come get some chicken. And he like, you know, we could take this party back to my house. You know, take this party back to your place, you know, let me just X, Y, and Z. And they like, no, we finna go home, okay? It was fun to kiss with you and hug with you and do drugs, but we about to go home, okay? And so he like, well, damn, you just gonna leave me out there like that? Well, damn, I ain't got nowhere to go. I was like, Emmett, you homeless for real, friend. You homeless for real. He get on the train, child, and he just riding the train to the last stop, child. Just pitiful. And so as he falls asleep, and when he wakes up, we see two guys, and they punching him. How they found him on the train in the middle of the night, I don't know, but they found him on the train in the middle of the night. Apparently, this is Tiffany's cousin, and they beat him up, and they tell him, you know, if Tiffany lose custody of this baby, we gonna fuck you up or whatever. So I'm like, okay. Evan and Jake meet up in the gym, and Papa has told both of them that they both are going to apologize to each other. So they pissed off, and then Papa is like, listen, I just need y'all to just make up and just get it together, because if y'all can't apologize, then we just going to fight it out. So he got some boxing gloves. They all put the boxing gloves on, child, and Papa couldn't even say 3, 2, 1, and the boys was fighting already, child. They punching each other all upside the head, so much to the point where Papa got punched, okay, and then they all just started laughing, and then we see them laying on the ground together. What you about to do? You know what I'm saying? How you be with your friend after argument? What you about to do? And they talk about the project and how Kevin say he can't do it because he been going to therapy. He ain't got time. And Jake is like, well, why don't we just steal the volcano that's in the library? So we see them go distract the janitor, and they break into the library. And we see Ronnie and white friend. They exercising, you know, the white boy just talking. You know, he talking about his life and all of that stuff. Ronnie said he good with his life in here. Then we flash back to Ronnie playing basketball with some of the homies from the neighborhood, and they just talking about how he has options because he been in the military, and how they friend got a job, you know, a week after they got out of military, and why he came home. There ain't nothing for them here. He talks about how it's weird there, but he still seems optimistic about his police exam, because he tells them, I'm studying to be a police, I'm be arresting all of y'all or whatever. So it's still happier times, okay? We know that he's drinking, but it's not as bad as it got to be later on in life, for sure. We see Brandon at the restaurant. He's interviewing with this beautiful Nigerian woman. Apparently she owns this like really nice restaurant, and he starts telling her about the dish he made, and she asked him, what's the story? And so he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. She was like, what's the meaning behind the dish. She said it was good, but she didn't feel anything when she ate it, and now she knows why, because he's like, I don't know, I was so focused on it tasting good. She said it tastes good, but you know, now I know why I didn't feel anything when I ate it. So she gives him some advice. She tells him a story about her adjusting to the culture when she moved to America and them eating fast food, and you know, even though it made them have the runs or whatever, but it was fast and they ate it. And she said then when she grew older, she started cooking things that she, you know, grew up eating from Nigeria, and that's where she finds herself. So anytime she feels lost, she finds herself when she starts cooking. And so that's what she wants him to do. Remember why he started cooking in the first place. This really makes Brandon think and pause for a moment, because, you know, he's thinking about, well, why did I start cooking in the first place? You know, what was my reason for doing this? So arguing with the neighbors about the noise that's going on, she hollering out the, you know, out the door. You know how Ethel do. And Mama walks up on her, and Mama is like, you know, you can't be doing all of that. You know, we don't have Ronnie here no more. You can't be hollering at people. These kids are different. You know, don't, you know, do all of that. Ronnie flashback. Okay, and he's taking the police test, and the lady asks him a question about something that happened, and will he be able to take the test, and he says yes, he will be fine. And we see that he's either a bad test taker, or he just, you know, he didn't study, or he doesn't know the information. So I don't know which one it was, but it came across to me like he's just a bad test taker. And so he was having a rough time taking this test. Back to Brandon, and he's in the truck. He found the truck. Jerika comes outside, and she's like, well, what happened? And he said, well, the police found it. You know, they stole everything. They stole my refrigerator. They stole all the food and all of that. And he was like, you know, it's a very small percentage that the police catch or find cars after they've been stolen. And she was like, nah, look at you. You know, basically like, nigga, y'all be so against the police, but when you need sometimes you need to call the police. I mean, that is their job. I'm just saying. She says that the DA called and said that Ronnie took the plea deal, or Ronnie is taking the plea deal, and next week he has to go in to be sentenced or whatever. He said he's going to be there. You know, of course he's going to be there. And she asks about the interview, and he tells her that he didn't get it, but, you know, about the whole he need a story and why did he start cooking. And he said, I don't know why, I just been cooking since I was a little kid. And then he starts telling a story about how him and Coogie, or he used to make these things for Coogie, and Coogie was like his little guinea pig, and he liked making him happy with the food that he was making. And so, you know, now we get into the reason of why he likes to cook so much. Literally, he likes to make people happy, he likes to take care of people, or his brother, or whatever the case may be. And Jerika is like, well, now you found your story. Look at God. He did it again. Mama is at her new place, and Emmett is ringing the doorbell. He wants to come in, baby. He said, listen, he's sorry. You know what I'm saying? He knows that she's always there for him, or she tells him, you know, I'm always there for you, but you can't have me to keep falling back on. And he was like, listen, it's bullshit. I understand you was trying to teach me a lesson. I learned a lesson, but it's late, and I need somewhere to stay. Like, you can't leave me out here like this. Like, this is wrong. And she says, I'm sorry. You know, she's like, I'm sorry. It is what it is. I'm sorry. And he like, let me in. Let me in, mama.
Let me in.
Oh, nigga, you homeless. Like, you out here. Homeless, nigga. Like, park bench homeless, my nigga. As he's standing outside, the homeless man with the card look at him and say, hey, you need one of these? I won't get you one, fam. It's like the homeless starter pack. Kids are putting together their volcano project. They're using baking soda, and I think they use cold drink. We already know this is gonna cause a reaction. So we see, they looking at it, they see it bubbling up, and it sprays, and we're in the classroom, actually, when they're doing a presentation, all over the teacher child. She tells them, okay, good job, or whatever, and as they leaving the class, Maisha like, I know y'all stole that from the library, okay? And if you don't give me all the candy and the Fitbit, bitch, that I asked you for, I'm telling. Kevin and Keisha talking about therapy, and he asked her about her track meet. He want to go. I was like, you so cute, Kevin. You better grow up and be We like the nice young men. Praise God. Kevin said he want to go see his sister run track. She asked him about therapy and how it's going, and he tells her that he just sitting up in there looking at the lady like he not talking to that lady because therapy is for white people. And she's like, you need to talk to that woman. Let's see, do you want to grow up and be like Emmett? You mean have a whole closet full of sneakers? Yeah, I want to be like Emmett. No, have 3 kids, 3 baby mamas. Okay, ain't got nowhere to stay. Learn how to open your mouth and communicate when something is wrong with you. So talk to that lady, please. Ronnie in the jail, I said, Ronnie, well, we tired. Baby, you need to get it together. Ronnie is up in the jailhouse. We see him pull some out the toilet and start drinking it. I want to say it's some type of moonshine, some type of alcohol he done made, because, you know, they got to let it sit and ferment. So I'm assuming this is some type of alcohol or some type of, you know, drug or something he ain't got no business doing. Drinking it out of that bag, and then he started to suck on the alcohol swab. So we can see that he's not sober, okay? He's still going through issues. Like, he ain't living no better life. He perpetrating explain this lie about prisoners making him so whatever. He probably more sober than he used to be, but he not sober. So that's a lie. Flashback. This is him getting a rejection letter from the police department. Now, they tell him they cannot offer him a position at this time, but you know, it's interesting how people on this show respond to things. Like Brandon is one of the people, like, he done got everything stole. His brother done got killed, but yet he can still see the optimistic part of life. He still can try again. He can pick himself up. He can do it over. Now, granted, he ain't been off, you know, in no war. He ain't seen people get their head blowed off, so he ain't got no PTSD either. So, you know, that's a factor. But Ronnie seems to be one of them people that whenever he get a setback, it just kind of brings him down and brings him down and brings him down to the point where he's just upset. So we see him, you know, just looking at this paper, kept reading the top paragraph because it was a whole nother paragraph about how he was committed. They could see that he was dedicated, X, Y, and Z, and probably that they wanted him to try again because that's how this stuff goes most of the time. But he's just looking at the top paragraph, just looking at it, just drinking and drinking. And now we can see the bottle this big, okay? Instead of being this big, the bottle is this big, okay? Now he drinking. So we see he has a gun on the table. So he goes to get the gun. He put the gun to his head, and you can tell that he thinking about killing himself, or either killing himself or killing somebody else. I'm pretty sure he was banking on this, like, being his job, especially because he was in the military, and, you know, they would think that being a police officer or that type of job would be easy for him to get. So he probably either haven't been trying to get no other job. So, you know, he feel like he at his wit's end. He about to kill himself. And right when he about to shoot himself, a ball fly through the window. Some kids in the neighborhood are playing, and so they all start running away, and they like, oh my God, it was an accident. And he catch one little kid, and the little kid is like, please don't tell my mommy. I don't want to get in trouble. I was like, oh, he's so cute. It was a cute little boy. And turns out this was Jason. So now we can see how Jason, his son, came into his life and kind of saved his life, actually. So then we see Emmett with them trash bags, child, just logging them trash bags to somebody's house. So he finally makes it to the house. He knocks on the door, and somebody answers the door, and they got a baby in his arms, and he's like, hey, how you doing, Darnell? And Darnell is like, how you doing, son? It's been a long time. I said, son? You mean to tell me your daddy was right around the corner down the street up the block? And you mean to tell me, nigga, you ain't... And he got a baby in his arms too, so I don't know if that's a grandbaby or the nigga still out here making babies, child. I don't know, but either way, it ain't good. Maybe we gonna get this side of the relationship this season, and I'm cool with it because Emmett needs to grow. He is sorry. I'm glad that they putting this on TV because it's a lot of sorry ass people out here, just sorry. And I mean women and men. I ain't even gonna rag on no men, okay? It's women and men out here, mamas and daddies out here that's raggedy, trifling, don't do what they supposed to do. They tired, just always talking about what they want to do, but don't never follow through with it, child. This is real. If this ain't real right here, Emmett and Mama's story is real, honey. This is real. We see Brandon at his truck again. He grabs some spray paint and he gets a little inspired, you know, and he starts spray painting. Okay, and then when he done, it says Coogie's Taco Corner. I was like, oh, you better dedicate to your brother. Okay, this song is dedicated. It was cute. And so then we see Miss Ethel. She gets a knock on the door, and she answers the door, and it's a young man talking about they looking for donations for some type of after-school program for boys or whatever, and it's, you know, or people, ex-military people. That's what it was because, you know, Ronnie was in the military, so that's what got her. She was like, okay, well, you know, okay, let me get my money, you know, and she turned around, and child, they bust up in that house, and when I tell you they beat this old lady, like, I was just shocked. Like, the violence took me out because the whole episode wasn't like that. So to see the end with that violence, oh my God, y'all. They beat Miss Ethel. Oh, child. And the only thing I could think of is why they showing us this is because Ronnie is not there with her no more. Now she's vulnerable to getting robbed. Because I want to say that was the same boy she was telling to be quiet earlier that episode. Or just people know she in that house by herself. Okay, so I think it might be better for her to move to the facility. No tea, no shade. You know, I think at this point, Miss Ethel, I don't know if she can live in there by herself. You know, I think she might need to, you know, move to a facility. Or maybe, you know, somebody need to move in there with her. But you know, they ransacked that house. It wouldn't even look like they was stealing nothing. They was just knocking shit over and beating her up. Child, she had blood all over her face. They was dragging her. I said, not Miss Elsa. I mean, I don't even know if she gonna survive. Is she gonna live? Jesus. But I wrote Jesus on this paper. Jesus. It was terrible. I couldn't even hardly watch it. It was so bad. So then we see Kevin at the therapist, and he's discussing Coogie, or she trying to get him to discuss the shooting in Coogie or whatever. He don't want to talk about it at first. And then he asks her, she asks him about Ronnie, and Ronnie or he says that he shot Ronnie, he did, you know, is he gonna go to jail? And she's like, no, you're not gonna go to jail for that. You know, you're not gonna go to jail. He says everybody's life has eruptions. You know, this is normal. It makes you feel off-center. And she said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, well, you know, I like video games, I like basketball, and I like drawing. So, you know, I'll probably do something like that if I grow up. And she was like, if you grow up, you know, that's a very telling statement. If you grow up. And that's how it went off. I was like, okay, this was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. The only problems I be having with Shy sometimes is the writing, the holes they leave in the plot sometimes kind of throws me off a little bit. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Ronnie this season. They kind of overused the flashbacks. Like, I didn't need every single thing in the flashback. Like, I ain't need all them flashbacks for them to convey what they was trying to convey, right? He was optimistic at one time. He couldn't get a job. He didn't get the job he wanted, and he sunk into a depression, you know, drinking more, and led to being alcoholic, and I'm sure a criminal as well. We get it, and we didn't need all them flashbacks for you to tell us that. I love the comic relief of the kids, because every time I watch The Chi, I just be feeling like, because, you know, Chicago have such a stereotype for violence. I've been to Chicago several times, and I love the city. I've never felt like unsafe, and so it has this crazy stereotype about like people just shooting people in the street like the Wild Wild West. That's how people try to act like Chicago is. It's nice to see, you know, the people having fun, you know, everything not being so heavy-handed. So I appreciate that about The Chi. I like that about this show. Also, like I said, like the depiction of Emmett, because that's real life. More than anything else. More than your child growing up to be a mass murderer or a gang member, or I'm sure that's common in some, you know, places and parts of the country. But more likely than that, your child could grow up to be trifling, and you would just be taking care of them. They ain't really no criminal. They ain't really, you know, bad, but they ain't really good either. They ain't doing nothing wrong, but they ain't doing nothing right. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of people like that. So I want to hear your thoughts about this episode. So let me know in the comments what you thought about The Chi. You gonna be watching it the whole season? Last season was pretty good, but it was kind of boring. So we're going to see what's going to happen this season. So let me know what you think. If you want to follow me on social media, I know I keep changing it, but I'm trying to get everything to be uniform, y'all. So at Watch Donna Vay on Twitter, at Watch Donna Vay on Snapchat, at Watch Donna Vay on IG. I'm trying to get my followers up on IG on my new page. So go on, follow me, y'all. This is public, because my private page, my personal page is private. Some of y'all follow me on there too, so that's fine. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, that's important. You here, you watch this whole video. Like it and subscribe to it. It was long. Go ahead, you gonna come back. Come on back. And I will holler at y'all next week. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.